Okay, y'all, I'm back with this tutorial. So today we're doing a sleek extended ponytail on natural hair. So you can see me, I'm just going through and I'm pressing my daughter's hair out. I use a slick stick on each section because it kind of coats the hair and it makes it easier to press and also easier to mold up into a ponytail. I won't be using any gel for this ponytail, only spritz. So I'm just going through and I'm literally going in little small sections and I'm pressing it out. Make sure I get those roots really good. The roots make the biggest difference, especially if you're doing natural hair, because you don't want like those little wavies, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want it to look super sleek, so you definitely want to concentrate on the roots. If you can see what I'm doing, that's why I keep putting a slick stick right at the root and using a hot comb and a flat iron, because she is natural and I want to get those roots as straight as possible. Okay, now we're gonna get into these edges. You have to get those edges. That's gonna make the ponytail, like them roots and the edges, like you want that slick as possible, especially because the girlies like to wear these baby hairs now. So, you know, they're not gonna lay good if we don't get them pressed. And I'm gonna use the same method. I'm using the slick stick all the way around because it just helps get the hair straighter. And I'm using my small flat irons, my big flat irons, and a hot comb, y'all. I just had to go to work on her. Okay, now you're seeing me. I'm just separating the part where her baby hairs will be. Now I'm just putting the ponytail at her desired preference. This is where she wanted it, so we'll wrap the ponytail. No, it's not going to be neat, and no, we're not putting any product on as of yet. Okay, so here's the things you'll need. You'll need black rubber bands, Chic helmet head spray, which I love this because it creates a really nice shine and it's very moldable. Now, I replaced my Got To Be spray with this spray because it doesn't flake. Got To Be tends to be very flaky and it turns white, and Helmet Head does not. It's also very shiny and it's very moldable. Like, meaning like once you spray one section, if you have to go over it again to smooth it back out, you don't have to worry about it being flaky or crunchy or turning white. Okay, next I have my Fantasia spritz. I love this spritz as well because it's also not flaky, but it's not as strong of a hold as Helmet Head. So I just use this to kind of top off the extra hold and shine after using the Helmet Head. To be honest, this spray is not necessary as long as you have the Helmet Head. I just like to use it. I like the effect of it. I love the extra shine that it gives. Next, I have these Annie rubber bands. Now, these are like really thick and wide. These are useful when it comes to wrapping the ponytail because they'll be more sturdy, as well as some people like height along the band of the ponytail, which you'll understand what I mean a little bit later. So these help to kind of, you can stack these so that if you want your band really tall around your ponytail, it will be effective and it will stand up straight. And this little bad boy right here, which you know as the edge brush, I actually use that to really detail the ponytail and help get her edges really flat and laid. Okay, now we're about to start the mold. Now, when doing these types of ponytail, a sleek ponytail with no gel, you definitely need that little piece that you just seen me hook onto my blow dryer, which is a concentrator, because you want the heat to be focused on whatever area or section of the ponytail that you are trying to mold. So you can see me right here. I just sprayed a little bit onto her hair. Not her edges, just the part that I'm slicking into the ponytail. Now, if you notice, I'm doing it in a small section. So I just sprayed just along her edges because I want to make sure I get her edges really flat and sleek looking. So I'm just concentrating on that, just that little portion. You should have a cool button on your blow dryer. Mine is right here at the top. So what I do is while I'm blow drying the hair, I alternate back and forth between the heat and the cool, just so I won't burn my client with the blow dryer, because you're definitely going to be doing a lot of blow drying, and my blow dryer gets extremely hot. So like I said, you can see me doing a small section at a time, and you'll see me smoothing it with my hand. And as I'm blow drying, I'm alternating between hot and cold air, and I'm just smoothing it down, and I'm starting first along her edges. Look at that. And then I'm working my way up as I go into the ponytail. You see how I'm working my way up to the next section? Working my way up, and then I'll do the same thing. Just smoothing it out. Smoothing it out with my hand and blow drying it. And that's what's making it smooth. And I'm literally going to continue to do that around the whole perimeter of her head. I start with the front first, and then once I've molded the whole front of her head, then I'll go to the back. Now, what you may notice is while you're slicking the ponytail up, you might start to see a little bunching towards the rubber bands. You don't worry about that. That's the purpose of the mold. The rubber band is just keeping it where you want it. And once you've molded everything down, then we'll come back and we'll smooth that out around the rubber bands. Now just take a look at this mold. Like, look how sleek and shiny and straight that is. Okay, now we're on to the back of the head. So when molding this, one thing you need to remember, do not let your client bend their head down. You need to let them know that as you put pressure on their head, they need to push back. They need to hold their head straight up so that it doesn't do that ripple thing in the back. You know, a lot of times people get ponytails, and then once the back is molded and they move their head, it does this ripple by their nape. So make sure they're keeping their head straight up, which she actually forgot and bent her head down a little bit. But make sure they're keeping their head straight up and their neck firm. And as you push against their head, they're pushing back, because you want to keep that slick up all the way around. Y'all, this mold is just really looking really good. Like, this is how your mold should look. It should be sleek and shiny and straight. And this is literally on natural hair. No gel is needed. As you're finishing up your mold, try to get as close as possible to the rubber band. Do not worry about the bunching. Just try to get as close as you possibly can. Okay, now here's the scary part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut that rubber band off. We're going to cut those rubber bands off. And you'll see me spray along where the bunching is. And I'm just smoothing it out with my edge comb. I'm going all the way around and just smoothing it out, and take your time. Now, if you have molded it right and took your time, this won't be a problem because your client's hair will literally stay in that mold, you know? So all you have to do is just smooth out the bunching. Once you've done that, you're going to rewrap the ponytail with about 3 of the black rubber bands. And this is what it should look like. Now that we've completed the mold, I'm going to take 2 of those thick rubber bands and I'm going to wrap around the base. Make sure it's not too tight. You want to be checking on your client because you don't want you don't want too much tension on your client's head, but you definitely want it to be tight. So I'm wrapping it and I'm stacking it. She initially told me how high she wanted that band. So I'm just stacking it, and it makes it stiff at the base so that, I don't know if you've ever seen people ponytails and they look like they're leaning over and falling. With these rubber bands and with this technique, you don't have to worry about that. It'll be firm and it'll be stiff and it'll sit up like it should. Now it's time to lay those baby hairs. So I'm just going back in and I'm curling her baby hairs with my teeny tiny flat irons. I'm back making them a little straighter and I'm putting a curl in it. And I'll use my edge booster to mold her edges. Curling them just helps form them better. Now you're just gonna mold your client's edges to your preference. She didn't want too much, just a little simple swoop here and a swoop there. However you choose to do them is your preference, but this is what she asked for, so I did it this way. And you just mold them slightly into the ponytail. Once you have the baby hairs molded to your liking, you're just gonna go over and spritz those as well. I typically kind of spritz my finger and then rub it along the baby hairs. I'm very particular about that. In the past, when I've just decided to just spray it directly on the head, it gets a little too sticky. My end wraps kind of stick to them, so I prefer to do them this way. Now I'm going to do one last spritz of her mold of the ponytail all the way around. And then I'll put some black neck strips to tie around her baby hairs so that they can stay really flat, nice, and molded. Now, there's no perfect way to tie the neck strips around, but if you notice, I do one completely around without tying it down. And then the second one, I'll tie it down towards the back of her head. I do that because it keeps from creating creases in the ponytail or in the baby hair. Now right here, we're just trying to see how long I need to extend her real hair in order to get the ponytail to the length that she wants. Clearly, the ponytail is too short and the bundles are too short. So what I'm going to do is add some braiding hair to her real hair. There's no particular way that you have to do this. And I'm basically going to braid down to the bottom of her neck. Or you will braid down as long as you need to get the desired length, because the bundles will start towards the end of the braid. So wherever I stop braiding is where I will start wrapping the ponytail. And here you can see where I've extended her ponytail. So next, we always want to protect the hair. So I'm going to take another neck strip and I'm going to wrap the braid completely with paper. Pay attention to whichever direction you choose to wrap the paper in, because you will also need to wrap the bundle hair in that same direction. If you don't, it will tend to loosen up the paper around the hair and you could possibly get glue on your client's hair. Now for the fun part, we're about to wrap this hair. We use some synthetic organic hair just because this style is not going to be a long-term style and it was less expensive. And I just start to add a little glue towards the bottom of the ponytail and I'm just going to wrap. Dealing with synthetic hair is really tricky. Because this hair was curly and it was synthetic, it was kind of giving me a hard time as I was wrapping because it was tangling a little bit. As you can see me trying to untangle some parts, but it worked out in the end. Now we're coming up towards the top of the braiding hair. Once we get to the top, what I like to do is stop there because I like to keep the base really skinny. And what I realize is that if I stop where the rubber bands are and then wrap the hair around, it will create a very small, natural looking base. Yeah, this is me struggling to untangle all this hair. I normally use a detangler, but I didn't have it at the moment, nor did I have the proper brush. So I just kind of finger combed through it. But we worked it all out. So now it's time to wrap the top of the ponytail. Now, if you see, I stopped where I started the braid at. I stopped wrapping the tracks. And now I'm taking a piece of the hair from up under the ponytail. Don't forget this. You got to take it from up under the ponytail, just enough. And I'm going to press this out and basically just wrap it around the base of the ponytail. And now you'll see what I mean when I said those big thick rubber bands were used to help create a sturdy base of the ponytail and to create height. And I know you heard me say I pressed that piece out. Even though it's synthetic, if you turn your flat irons down really, really low, you can press it out. You'll also notice that as I'm wrapping the ponytail, I'm spritzing it with more helmet head as I wrap it, and that's just creating that nice shine that you see, and it's also helping to keep the bands like stuck, like it's sticking. And then once I've completely wrapped it, I'm gonna blow dry the base really, really good, and I take like a drop of hair glue and I kind of rub it along the back side up under the band of the ponytail, and it'll stay in place the entire time. And here is the final reveal. Take that paper off, and there we have it, a gorgeous, sleek mold on natural hair.